Why, hello, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and I am going to be designing this flower here. I had asked before. I showed you around 9 or 10 flowers, and I asked which ones you would like to see. And this one is one of the winners. There was a tie between this one and this one, which were both dusty rose with the cream background. Today I'm going to make this one right here, which is a little bit lighter because I am going to use a variety of colors in the wreath I'm making. So let's work on this one. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this top here, and then I will show you how to do the backgrounds and things like that. Okay, so I decided I am going to use this, and this is a lace that I have in my Etsy shop, and I just began carrying these two colors. This is more of a blush kind of a pink. It has tiny bit of peach almost look to it, and what I've done is I basically cut this. I'm going to show you how, because you can basically count the scallops. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 scallops. Okay, and that's what we're going to start with. Okay, so at the end I'll show you some of the other flowers I started designing. I'm designing flowers for a wreath order, and I'll use some of the old ones that I made, but I'm also designing some new ones. And I'll show those to you at the end, along with two different bases. So the first I'm going to start this, because no matter what color you order of this type of a trim, you will be able to use that. Now, what I usually do with something like this is I experiment with what I like. So what I've decided that I want to, you can see the pattern along here. What I want to do is I want to run a needle through here, this section right here. And sometimes I'll stick it through the middle, just so. I'm going to show you what I do. And you're going to be amazed at how beautiful this looks. And so I'm running it along, and I'm just ending up in the same section here, right there. And I'm just going I'm going to go all the way through. Okay, you could do it, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but I'm just trying to show you the measurements I use so that you can come up with the same type. And you can actually, I'll show you why I'm leaving this on. I'm not going to cut it off because I want to show you the trick. And this is a unique trick. I've never seen anyone else do it, but I do it with several of my laces. And I want you to see here. Okay, I'm going to show you really close up one more time. The pattern I'm following is, you see these two little things coming out, and I'm going right in the middle, right here next to where there's two dots on this lace. Okay, so up through, and then I'm going up through. It really doesn't have to be this pattern exactly, but you'll see why it just helps me to follow it straight for me to choose a pattern. Okay, I've gathered it all the way up. I'm not going to put it all the way. You got to make sure this opposite side does not fall out. And then I'm going to stop right there. It's kind of an open, so it's kind of like if I go through here, I'm going to have issues. But what I'm going to do is I want you to take like sides before you finish this off. Take like sides together. So this is the right side of the lace, and this is the wrong side of the lace. So I'm going to take the right side of the lace and kind of meet it up like this. Okay, and then see right here where I have this little swirl, I'm going to do half this swirl. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it, and we'll just be using some hot glue around half. This doesn't need to be exact, but okay, I still have it running through. And what I did was that I glued the right sides together, but now that you glued the right sides together, I flip it. I mean, you could do this multiple different ways, but I just wanted to show you that it's the right side I glue. Now, once I do this, I start gathering with my finger, and I'm going to check to see that how much I have open. Okay, I got to go through here again a little more. Okay, I had accidentally removed my needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it back. I'm going to continue on so that it meets on the opposite side of where we glued it. Just, I like to be on one side, not right in the center of it. That's my preference. You may find easier way to do it for yourself. And then you start gathering it, and you can see it looks kind of like a little skirt. Okay. Now I'm going to remove the needle, and I'm going to start it like this, just like you would tie. I'm going to do it twice, like this. This just helps it to stay together. Now, I don't want you to go all the way tight on that. What I want you to do is, this is a trick I've discovered with when I do these types of things, that I'll take a pen. This one happens to be like a marker, so it's a little bit wider than, say, this pen. I'm going to use this one. I just found that I like this size better. I'm going to put it through, you know, I've shown you how to use pens and stuff, and it just helps me to be able to tighten it, but still leave a little circle in between. So I'm going to tighten it again. And then I'm going to, oops, now just knot it. I'm knotting it now. Knotting my thread. Now remember, the thread I'm using is a thick thread. This is a crochet thread, but you can do it with any type of thread you like. Now I want you to see what happens. Look how pretty that is. This is the leftover piece. And can you see how it stays there, and it gives it a double layer. Just like that. See that? So you can actually just leave this like this, and it's great. Okay, it's beautiful flower. You can place a flower here in this, something in the center. I'll drop this in there. There you go. Like that. Okay, that's the top portion. 2 whites I used for this particular one. I used this white lace here. For this vintage looking one, I used this lace here. Now both of these laces, actually all the laces I'm using today, are in my Etsy shop. So this is a lace we're going to use right now, and it is let me show you the size, because if you have this in your stash, you can use what you have in your stash. This is about just a little over 2 inches, like 2 1/4 inches wide at the scallop edge there. And I'm just going to turn it into a flower. Now I decided you can make it from 12 inches to 9 to 12 inches, but depending on the width. But this one, I wanted it to be more fluffy, so I made this 18 inches long. 18 inches long. Okay, 18 inches by about 2 1/4 inch wide. And I am also going to just take a needle and run it through here. Just gather it just like you did the other, and I just drag it through. And most important thing when you're doing this is you make sure your thread is long enough, or you can knot it if you wanted this before to the thread, but I don't always do that. I don't always do that. Okay, I'm nearing the end, and you just keep on doing that running stitch, and now you can, I'm gonna just attach it to this other side. Let me pull one out. Oops. All right, then right sides together. I'm gonna draw these two together. There we go. Again, it's just a ruffle. So now here, again, like the other one, you can glue it right there if you wish. I'm going to glue it after the fact this time, just so you can see 2 different ways of doing it. And look how pretty. It's got a big wave, so that's all you did. But again, like the other one, where'd my flower go? Here it is. Like, I'm going to show you what I'm doing also. So here, I can put this on here. And so that becomes the bottom, and that's the top. But again, just like my other one, I did leave a hole in the center. Again, you can push this in there. And now you can tighten it. Now this is how I do it. There's multiple ways of attaching these together, but I like to make a little space so that for this one, it's just enough room so that ruffle fits in there. See? you can even make it a little bigger if you want your flower. If you want this to be a little larger, you can make it bigger. So now here that I did that, I'm going to glue these like same sides, the right sides together. There you go. Oh, just a little glue. It doesn't even have to go all the way down. I'm just choosing the thicker part of this lace. And try not to touch this because this is hot with the hot glue. And there you go. There's this. And I'm just going to place them on top. I'm not going to actually finish attaching them for you. And then this one will go on top. Oh, let me get further. So here's this piece and then this on top. And I chose to use this. I also carry this in my Etsy shop to cover that up. And can you see? And then I carry these in my Etsy shop. This is the pink. It almost looks like a light rosy pink. And then I have a cream. I have a few different colors right now in my shop. I don't always have colors, but I do have some right now, like lavender, purple, something like that. Blue, I don't know. But so now this is all you do. Look how gorgeous that is. And so that it comes out looking like this one. Okay, here it is all complete. I hope that it inspires you to create your own. And again, I have some of this lace in my shop. And this is the blush one. Now I'm going to make one more background because I used this color, which is the Dusty Rose color that I have in my shop. And oh, here it is, the Dusty Rose one. And I added a different background to it. Look, it's a cotton lace. So you're going to do the same thing with this piece. All right, for this background, this one happens to be just a little bit smaller than the other lace. It's under 2 inches, about 2 inches. And I am going to do the same thing. I'm just going to gather it. I decide just start gathering. Sometimes I'll go through the fabric a little. This one has holes. You can actually just use a blunt needle for these, some of these. But I'm just going through the holes. Oh, careful not to do that. All right. So then just go in through here. This is how I did it. Okay, I've run it through, and now we are going to put again the right sides together. And usually when I'm doing something like this, one thing I did forget to mention is that I will choose to match the tops and the bottom. I don't completely do it. Put that there. And let's put you on right there. There you go. And then again, I gather it, I pull it all the way, and I wanted it to be fluffy. I wanted it to be big. And this one, I know that I'm going to leave it open a bit more. It has plenty of room and wave. I'm just going to, this time I'm not going to use the pen, but you can use the pen. The pen is a different idea for me too. When I'm making multiples and I'm trying to make them all the same, I'll use the pen. There we go. So again, I left a little open, and then you just adjust your flower the way you want. This is cotton, so it actually will stretch a little. So now the same thing. Now, though I don't have it undone, you just place it right on top. So I used the Dusty Rose with this one. But I also have some other flowers. I told you that if you hang on, I would show you some of the other. I started making some other flowers. Here's one. This one I might add some more to the back, but I used a just the all-a-list technique for the base one, and then I used this is a beautiful lace I have in my shop. I have very little left of it, but I will probably purchase some more of this beautiful lace. And if you want a tutorial on this one, because the lace I used is actually this one here in the back. It looks like this. So I cut it in half and I made that one with it. And then over here, this one looks lighter. I made a a la list technique flower. See that? And then I put that on. I want it to look delicate. They're going to be all intermixed together. So this, and then I made some of those. I showed you a tutorial already of roses, and these are, I want to add some darker pink in there, and these are the colors I chose. I had a darker one in there starting. I'm like, I didn't like it. And the reason I chose to make this fabric like this is a very thin, light lace fabric. When I was trying to make the a la list technique flower, it looks gorgeous. Look at this. But I didn't like that quality. I didn't want that. I'm going to still use some of these like this one maybe, because I also like that flowing for tucking underneath of flowers and things like that. But I decided I didn't want too many of this kind. So I decided to make some roses. And this was a very thin lace. And I just made different ones. This one's a little bit a lighter color. And I showed you a tutorial on the roses before, and then I'm thinking of making this one. I will be making more, and then the next tutorial I'm supposed to make one like this, so I'll probably make another one like this for my wreath. That way I'll have two. And because I'm actually making, I'll probably make 3 more, because I'm making 2 wreaths, and I usually make at least 2 of each flower, sometimes more. Like the roses, I made a lot of roses. And then here is another, this is using a la list technique. It's just not, I haven't decided how I'm going to use it, but I might use like a center like this one. This actual center I'm going to soon be putting in my shop. I have some, I just haven't put it in my shop. I keep on getting wreath orders, so that's keeping me busy. I have these 2 I'm making, and then I have 1 more order. I'm trying to talk to my customer to figure out which wreath she actually wants. So that's what I'm doing with that. So this is Elizabeth Crafted Devotion, and I'm going to keep on making flowers, and there'll be more tutorials, but I'm just trying to squeeze them in. So I hope you are inspired to make your own. You can use your own laces to use this technique. You don't have to purchase mine. But I do appreciate that if you share my videos, that's a really big help. If you like my videos, if you comment on my videos, all of that helps me to continue doing this. I'm trying to provide this easy flower making and showing you what I do, because I know everyone is enjoying my flower making. I came up with some of my own designs. I make things unique. I take something I have and I decided to make them, I've never seen anybody like flip it the way I did to give it that base, and it's a slightly different color, but it looks gorgeous. This is Liz with Crafted Devotion. I will talk to you guys next time.